Namaste, it's Renee, and welcome to my podcast, Peace, Love, Abundance. Today, talking about one of the most important relationships you will have in your lifetime, and that is your relationship with money. The thing about money or your relationship with money is it is truly your entire lifetime. Now, maybe as a kid, you didn't pay your bills, you didn't pay your way or anything, you weren't out there buying your own diapers the day you were born. But still, money was playing a role in your life. The way your parents even saw money, how they managed money, at a very early age, believe it or not, you started to absorb that. You could feel that. And it is, again, probably the most important relationship you'll ever have in your life, because you know what? The need for it isn't going to go away. Having it is not going to go away. You can't break up with it, even though there are days when we really, really, truly wish we could just break up with money and not make it such a big deal. It is what it is, and it will always be a part of your life. You can't break up with money. You can't just pack money up and throw its bags out on the porch and say, never come back, right? Actually, it's more the opposite. Generally, when you're pissed off about money, it means that you need more of it. You need it to come to you. You need a big suitcase or a big bag of money to be dropped on your front porch that you can take into your home, right? And love and cherish and pay your bills with. It's quite the opposite of breaking up with money, is you need it to come to you. The thing is that money sometimes gets perceived as dirty or something that we're not allowed to attach ourselves to, because money doesn't create happiness. You create happiness, which there is a lot to that. As a yoga instructor, I do speak to a lot of you have to make yourself happy. And money doesn't buy happiness. You can't go down to the grocery store and get your milk and your eggs and your essentials and then throw some happiness on the conveyor belt too and watch the checker scan it across the scanner and then you pay for it at the end. So yes, it's true. You can't just go out and buy happiness. Happiness does come from deep within. It is definitely something you have to cultivate. You have to work on. You even have to smile daily. There's even that term out there, fake it until you make it. There are days when sometimes you got to fake that smile to get through your day. But that happiness in itself is another podcast for another day, right? Today, it's about your relationship with money and how you perceive money, or how you handle your money, how you cultivate it, bring it into your household, how you truly, truly see money. You see, as a yoga instructor, I have taken myself to a place where I almost feel guilty for making money for what I do, because I want to help everybody. I want to love everybody. I feel like yoga and Ayurveda and meditation and all of that should be available to everybody. And you know what? It is. It really, really actually is. You just have to find it. But a lot of people need some guidance, or they just want that accountability buddy with them to help make them more accountable for their actions and their yoga practice and their meditation or whatever it is in your life. Even if you don't practice yoga and meditation, we just all love to have that accountability buddy that's there with us along the way and is going to be that unbiased, even maybe opinion that speaks to you and tells you, hey, look, this is the way it is. Don't do this, don't do that. Giving you that guidance, right? And even though we are each our own individual, we should be able to make our own decisions in life and not be told what to do and what not to do. We get wrapped up in our own little worlds that sometimes you do need, again, that accountability buddy that makes you accountable for your actions and your thoughts and your energy and even your relationships, right? All relationships have a give and a take. Even a relationship between two people who love each other, or the relationship between a parent and a child, a relationship between a boss and a worker, or two co-workers, right? Those are relationships. And they are an exchange of energy. Relationships are an exchange of energy, an exchange of love, or being that coworker, that supportive coworker, coworker or the boss keeping you up to speed with what needs to get done, and you letting your boss know, hey, I'm getting this done, or I have a question about this, right? It's all relationships coming and going. But what about your relationship with money? Money doesn't speak to you the way a human being does, but money does speak. And sometimes money speaks very loudly, right? Because there's those times when you don't have it and you're like, wow, nothing's speaking to me right now. I'm not paying my bills. What is going on in my life? I am a victim. I am going down this rabbit hole that I'm not sure how to get out of because I have these debts that the mortgage company or the debt collector is coming after me, right? We hear them speak. When they're coming after us, we hear them speak, or we get all the letters in the mail. They're speaking to us. But why isn't the money speaking to me? I need some money to pay these damn bills so that these debt collectors will stop speaking to me. So in the end, you start to really realize that money is an exchange of energy. Right? You pay your bills with money in exchange for those shoes you're wearing, those clothes you're wearing, the electricity in your house, the ability to keep your food cold in your refrigerator, to be able to have a bed to sleep on, covers that cover you, a roof over your head, right? You need all of that energy to keep you safe and keep you going daily. And money is what helps pay for all that stuff. When you work hard and you bust your butt and you bring in money. You bring it home in the form of a paycheck. So it is an exchange of energy. It's all around us and we need this energy. So why do we have a poor relationship with money? Or maybe why do some of us have a poor relationship with money? That we don't have enough of it to even get through the day, the week, the month, the year. And that is up to you to figure out 100% what your relationship with money is. But some of the sources can come from, again, the way you were raised, your parents. What was your parents' relationship with money? Even maybe take a moment here to just contemplate that. Can you drift off for just a moment here? What was your parents' relationship with money? Sometimes as kids, all we hear is, oh, we can't afford that. You don't get this. You get to ride your brother's bike because we already bought it for him. Now you get to ride your brother's bike because we can't afford two bikes. Or rather, your brother's gotten so big, we need to buy him a bigger bike. So you get the second Z over here. And we absorb this, right? That we're not good enough for that new bicycle. We have to use the hand-me-down bicycle. We absorb this as kids. We pick up on this, on how our parents can teach us about money by giving us secondhand stuff. Now, we can take a lesson from that of reuse. So you take something and you reuse it, in life, because there's a lot of trash in this world. It is good to learn how to reuse something. Definitely. There is something to that kind of energy, and maybe that's the lesson that your parents were trying to teach you. But often the lesson is, or it's been told to you possibly at some time in your life, again, that they don't have the money to buy you a new bike because your brother's growing like a weed and he needs a bigger bike. So therefore you get to inherit this bike until you get better at it, and then maybe you get another bike somewhere along the line. Or maybe you don't ever get a bicycle, right? Your parents were so poor that they never could buy you a bicycle that you could call yours, even if it was a hand-me-down. Anyways, that's the whole child cycle, right? What you were told as a child, that maybe they didn't have enough money. And so therefore you grow up thinking that you were poor, and maybe you were poor. I don't know. I don't know your situation, but do know that the power of suggestion and words can get planted in our heads very easily as a child. And you can get that planted in your head that you grew up poor, that you couldn't afford certain things. So therefore you adopt that personality and that relationship with money, and you move on with your life continuing that trend. And granted, sometimes we don't know what we don't know, or sometimes the only thing we know is what we've been taught or nurtured with. So that is a big barrier to get over. But if you're listening to this right now, hopefully I'm getting you to stop and think for a moment here. Does what 20, 30, 40 years ago when I was a kid, does it truly affect me today? In my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, however old you are listening to this right now, do you really need to adhere to what you were taught as a kid? Can you break that cycle? Can you step out of the cycle and break the cycle from when you were a kid? I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. You're a fool if you think you can't, because you are an adult now. You are an adult. You have learned several lessons. You're listening to this podcast right now with me full on telling you you can break that cycle. But you do need to, I believe, connect the dots of your past to figure out when you started to have this thinking pattern. And then you kind of somewhat need to, Bill and Ted's Adventure, go back into time and figure out when you started to have that thought, and then break that cycle. Just break it right there. Because you know what? Our past is our past, and we do learn from our mistakes. But that's the thing. We learn from our mistakes. Resist continuing to repeat the past over and over and over, but break the cycle. Today's a new day. Today's the day that you're going to learn to cultivate a better relationship with money. That you don't have to live the way you did back then as a child, if the child scenario is your scenario. My scenario, I figured out, definitely, I endured a lot of secondhand stuff being the youngest of 4 children, but I actually really, truly pinpoint where my relationship with money went negative was when I became a parent and I had my son and I worked. I only took 6 weeks off from maternity leave, which hindsight now was totally not enough. But anyways, I only took 6 weeks off. My employer at the time didn't pay me maternity leave. I had to save as much money as I could to even afford to take those 6 weeks off. Then I went back to work full time and worked full time. Even started another job eventually when my son was 2, working full time, which was more money, but the entire time I worked more than 40 hours a week. When I was in the printing industry and the software industry, I worked more than 40 hours a week. My son spent more time in childcare than he did with me. And I started to really feel guilty about that. While I was making really good money, some of the best money I've made in my life, I was feeling really guilty for the amount of time that my son spent in childcare. So when I got laid off from the software company, I had made a decision right then and there that I didn't care what I did into my future as long as I spent more time with my son. So that's where my relationship with money went sour, is I was bitter about not being able to spend enough time with my son because I was making a lot of money. So I flip-flopped the two. I created a life where I had more time with my son, and don't get me wrong, I made the decision that I needed to make at that time, and I spent some beautiful years and time with my son. But now that my son is 23 and out of the house, I sit back and I look at myself like, wow, where did my relationship with money go so sour that at 47 years old, I am struggling with paying my bills? What happened? Where did this happen? At one time in my life, I was very successful. I made really good money. So I had to really sit down and revisit my past. I had to connect the dots of my past to figure out where my relationship with money went sour. Or per se, flip-flopped from making really good money to barely paying my bills. And again, while I'm very appreciative of the time that I spent with my son, I am at a place in my life right now where at 47, the thought of retirement or even medical bills, if my health starts to go south on me, I don't have a way to pay for it because I pushed all the money aside in life to spend time with my son. And no matter how beautiful that sounds, we need to find a happy medium in life. We need to find balance. We need to find that place where we can love ourselves, spend time with ourselves, cultivate life outside work, but also still have a good relationship with money to where we can bring that exchange of energy into our household and pay our bills and plan for the future. As much as I want to be a yogi and live in the present moment, I do know I need to plan for my future. And as I'm getting older, that future could involve, some health issues and needing some money to be able to live more comfortably in my later years. So while I did figure out a way in my life to love my job, love what I do, spend some time with my son, I let go of the thought of money, and now in my life I'm trying to bring that all back around. My relationship with money, I'm trying to cultivate it. And even the career that I brought on during this time being, as I said a few minutes ago, I started to feel guilty for this exchange of energy for what I do, the energy work that I do. Even being an esthetician, helping people with their skincare, I want everybody to be able to get a facial and have good skincare advice. And that's me, though. Part of that is me, because I just love helping people and I want to help people. But I need the exchange of energy so that I can take care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself, then how am I going to take care of you or anybody else out there, right? So cultivating my own relationship with money, that money is an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of knowledge. And I have a certain amount of knowledge and energy to share with you and the world. And I deserve to have that exchange coming back with me. Now, what your relationship with money is, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just here to share with you today what mine is. And even the childhood example was an example to use. Your relationship with money can be anything. Maybe you actually make a great salary, but yet you're still always broke because you spend it faster than you can make it, even though you have a really good income. For some people, it's credit card debt. You don't know when to stop. You can't stop shopping. You just keep buying more and more and more and more, and you're living outside your means, and you just don't know how to stop. But you have to figure it out and get yourself ahead of the game. You can't always consistently live behind. And the need for all those material aspects, that need to keep buying things that you can't afford, that is definitely a negative relationship with money. Either way, you need to get a grip on this. It's time. In 2019, you're going to go into 2019 with a much better understanding of your relationship with money. And you're going to have a great year because of that. It is up to you after this podcast to go ahead, take a little bit of time, sit with yourself, and ponder that thought. What is your relationship with money? Also, if you're interested, I created a program. The program is called Connecting the Dots. I took it off my website for a few weeks. I took it down, but I'm bringing it back after Thanksgiving for the Saturday small business specials. Actually, I'm bringing it back until January because I feel like my program, Connecting the Dots, it's pre-recorded, so the moment you buy it, it's ready for you to watch and listen to, and there's a workbook with it that you do it all online, but you fill out the workbook along the way of connecting the dots, where we work through this. We work through a little bit of your past to try and bring up what in your past took you to this place where you had these limiting beliefs. And you started to come up with all these excuses of your exchange of energy, whether it's relationships or money or your eating habits, whatever it is. It's not just money, but money is a big one for most of us. So in my program, we connect the dots of the past to create new dots and connecting the dots of the future that are a little bit more successful by overcoming our obstacles, our excuses, our limiting beliefs, our relationship with money or food or whatever it is for you. I am bringing this back so that we can set our goals for 2019, because I'm telling you right now, 2019 is going to be a year of overcoming your limiting beliefs in your relationship with money and accomplishing your dreams and goals and get through this thing we call life. But that little bit of help, that accountability through doing my program, it's only an hour and a half. I call it Connecting the Dots Goals Master Class. And on Small Business Saturday, so that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I'm having a special too, to where when you buy the Connecting Dots as a package with some privates with me. So after completing the Connecting the Dots online workshop masterclass, you will be able to have a private session with me online to where we discuss the things that you came up with while doing the program and filling out the workbook. And there's different packages. There'll be 3 packages you can choose from based on just maybe getting one private or a couple privates. And that will be available to you for only one day. And that's the day after Thanksgiving. The Saturday after, Small Business Saturday. My Connecting the Dots program, though, if you're listening this post-Thanksgiving and you missed out on the Saturday sale, my Connecting the Dots will be up on my website through January. Because I want you to, in December or January, be able to do the Connecting the Dots workshop online at any of those times to help you build a successful 2019. To be able to start connecting these dots of the past and then into the future. It's so important. If you feel like 2018 was draining on you, or even the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, whatever has been draining on you, then that means that whatever you're doing currently isn't working. And it's time to try something new, something different. And let me help you through that. Let me be your accountability buddy. So watch. You can sign up for my newsletter on my website at reneestahl.online. You can sign up for my newsletter to get a reminder. Or you can go directly to my website on Saturday and purchase it. Or even if it's not Small Business Saturday, I'm going to have that available through you through the remainder of November, December, and January to do the workshop. But if you can purchase on Small Business Saturday, you might be able to get a couple of private sessions with me to truly have that accountability buddy to help you through all of this. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with, from the peace, love, and abundance in me to the peace, love, and abundance in each of you. I hope you too can figure out where your relationship with money went sour, or whatever your goals and dreams are in life. Let's work together and accomplish them. And today I leave you with Namaste.